reading Habakkuk, and it's only 3 chapters, so it's a good read. I love to read short books in the Bible because I feel like I've accomplished something. And Habakkuk it's the first 2 chapters. When you read Habakkuk, you got to remind yourself, which I kept forgetting, that this is a conversation between Habakkuk and God. That it's like Habakkuk is complaining and coming to God with the same thing we do. Why? How long? You know, how unfair? How unright? What are you going to do? Uh, and that goes on for like 2 chapters. He does hear from God. Uh, in chapter 2, he begins to talk. It says, "And the Lord answered me," uh, and he starts telling him, "If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. Behold, his soul is puffed up; it is not upright within him. But the righteous shall live by his faith." So when God starts answering Habakkuk, Habakkuk's asking God and complaining about how uh, wicked and how thrown off the people of Judah are. This is about the people of Judah. I'm making sure I'm right on that. Yeah. And Habakkuk isn't talking about Judah directly. He isn't talking to Judah directly. He's talking to God about the conditions of mankind that he's seeing. And so this happens to all of us. We do that a bunch now. We're like, I can't believe what I'm seeing going on. And every time there's, you know, some crazy nut job does something crazy, you're like, oh my gosh, it just never will end. Rapidly so. There's some stuff going on that just makes no sense, and we're like that. We all people of moral. They don't want to see all. They don't want to see the killing or the riots, people throwing rocks and just lawlessness. It's like, what is going on? And I think it's important that we understand. And this is where I'm at. And I told y'all this yesterday. Learning to listen and be quiet. Learning to trust in the Lord. I love quoting that. Trust in the Lord, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll make your path straight. But I ain't never been very good at it. I trust Him. I trust Him with my life. I just don't. I just don't. I just don't. I just don't live in trust. I trust Him with my life and with whatever But I don't trust Him with. I don't have to kill myself today. I don't have to make it happen today. I don't have to make that deal, or I don't have to make that even decision. Like I end up feeling, like I force myself to make decisions when I should just wait on the Lord and let the decision. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this happens to everybody as they get older, but you don't realize it's your spiritual growth and your faith and your trusting in the Lord that you get stronger and more able to wait and be still and be patient. But I love this in chapter 2 where he says, "The righteous shall live by faith." That's the heading. "The Lord answer me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time." It hadn't happened yet, but it's coming. "It hastens to the end, and it will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come, and it will not delay." It's important that we wait on him. Says he talks to the Chaldeans. Woe, uh, and so he's got two different groups: the people of Judah who are doing wrong, but the Chaldeans do even wronger. And what I believe that the book of Habakkuk is about is how this prophet sits and talks and complains and prays and in the end, he's worshiping God because of God's response, God's acknowledgement, God's answer. And I think one of the things we all struggle with is we've been convinced not to question or ask why. And I think I don't think that's a problem. I think it's more important to ask what, because if the what is what I'm gaining. I'm always able to gain if I look for what it is He has for me, and I find the what way better than I find the why. But I mean, this is where he really kind of drops a hammer on them. Because you have plundered many nations, all the remnant of the people shall plunder you. For the blood of man and violence to the earth, to cities and all who dwell in them. Woe to him who gets evil gain from his house and set his nets on high to be safe from the reach of harm. You have devised shame for your house by cutting off many peoples. You have forfeited your life. For the stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the woodwork respond. Woe to him who builds a town with blood and founds a city on iniquities. Behold, it is not from the Lord of hosts that people labor merely for fire, and nations weary themselves for nothing. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the water covers the sea. Woe to him who makes his neighbors drink. You pour out your wrath and make them drunk in order to gaze at their nakedness. This is just what they would do to make folks to dishonor. And I'm not sure to the extent I didn't dig that deep into what that means in order to gaze at their nakedness, but it's not good. Drink yourselves and show your uncircumcision. This is just as you get drunk, which is what we do. You can take a drunk person and they can't hide who they really are. If they're violent, it's going to come out. If they're victims, that's going to come out. If they're wounded and hurting, and I mean, I'm telling y'all, you can take the biggest, ugliest guy, and he in drunk condition, he's either a big old crying teddy bear crybaby because his world, and he bless his heart, his whole world's a mess, or he's a mean somebody. But whatever that drunkenness, that drink yourselves and show your uncircumcision. It says, the cup in the Lord's right hand will come around you, and utter shame will come upon your glory. The violence done to Lebanon will overwhelm you, as will the destruction of the beast that terrified them. For the blood of man, violence on the earth, the cities and all who dwell in them. And then he addresses their idols. What profit is an idol when its maker has shaped it, a metal image, a teacher of lies? For it makes its maker trust his own creation when he makes speechless idols. And so this is still true today. We make idols all the time, and they don't talk. And we will, like, we don't even realize what they are. Sometimes it's uh, work can become an idol. Your beauty can become an idol. Your likes on your phone will become an idol. I mean, the fact is, like scrolling TikTok, meaningless waste. I mean, that can become an idol. Uh, I'm trying to think of other things. In cattle can become an idol. You just hardly heard one beller. Uh, anything that is in the position that God owns, that belongs to God. Anything that you can take people that live in the financial world, the reports, checking the stock market. I could almost find myself checking the board on the live cattle board multiple times a day. But I'm like, at this point in life, I don't understand it. It's makes no sense to me. So I just look at it usually of a morning and see if it's green or red and move on. Chapter 3 comes, and Habakkuk is praying. He's talking to God again. And it says, O Lord, I have heard the report of you, and your work, O Lord, do I fear. In the midst of the years, revive it. In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember mercy. God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran. His splendor covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was like the light rays flashed from his hand, and there he veiled his power. Before him went pestilence, and plagues followed at his heels. So now Habakkuk is acknowledging the mightiness of God, and he's worshiping God. And one of the first things we got to grasp is not, I don't think the condition has changed. I think Habakkuk is still waiting on God to do these things. He's still waiting on God to see God move against the evil that mankind is living out in front of him. And it's one of the things that we all have to get better at. It's just wait. It's believing, worshiping who He is, not what He does. It's a huge thing. It says He stood and He measured the earth. He looked and shook the nations. And then the eternal mountains were scattered. The everlasting hills sank low. His were the everlasting ways. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction. The curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. Was your wrath against the rivers, O Lord? Was your anger against the rivers, or your indignation against the sea? When you rode on your horses in your chariots of salvation, you stripped the sheath from your bow, calling for many arrows. You split the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and writhed, and raging water swept on. The deep gave forth its voice. This is all poetic, but I mean, he's saying the hand of God moved. It says the sun and the moon stood still in their place at the light of your arrows as they sped, at the flash of your glittering spear. Uh, so my notes down here says that this is reference to Joshua's victory at Gibeah. The victory is equal to what Joshua and the Israelites experienced. And so every time I've seen God move mightily and his righteousness win in the struggle of warfare of good and evil, it blows me away. I have to learn to worship him before I see it. I have to worship him for who he is, not what he does. It's huge. I mean, I think we all need to get that and begin to worship and praise the God of honor and the God of just. And you're going through injustice, and if you're going through times of hardship, times where life ain't fair, it seems like no matter what you do, it ain't working out for you, but others are taking advantage, and or you're others, it happens. Or you look around, everybody else is just off the charts. Seems like perfect in that. Focus, worship God for who He is. He says, "You went out for the salvation of your people, for the salvation of your anointed. You crushed the head of the house of the wicked, laying him bare from thigh." I mean, some of you may be really, really in a hard spot and really, really needing God to intervene on your behalf and to save you. And I'm encouraging you, worship Him and praise Him, for He's able. Uh, I love the ending. He continues to talk about what all He does. Uh, his verse 16 of Habakkuk 3 says, "Yet I will quietly wait for the day of trouble to come upon the people who invade us." It's like he's wrestled through all this. Habakkuk has. He's wrestled through what he don't see, what he sees as injustice and not right, and why ain't God done this, and why is this happening? And he's wrestled through all of that too. He knows God will. He knows God's able, and now he's like, I will quietly wait. I think I don't think I'm not able to quietly wait until I do all that wrestling. He says, though the fig tree should not blossom, nor fruit be in the vines, the produce of olives fail, and the fields yield no food, the flock be cut off from the field, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. Nothing has changed. Though the fig tree should not blossom, nor fruit bear on the vines, the produce of the olive fail, and the fields yield no food, the flocks be cut off from the fold, there be no herd in the stalls. I mean, the condition is still pretty dadgum rough. He says, "Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet tread in high places." He ends worshiping the God for who He is, not the condition or what He's lacking or what He's. So you know what I'm saying? Not what He does. So I encourage you today, worship God for who He is. Just today. No matter what condition comes at you, no matter what you get hit with, worship God for who He is today. He is good. He's a loving Father. Lord, I thank you for today, and I thank you for this morning. Thank you for this just a good cup of coffee. Lord, I pray your blessings. Lord, I pray for anybody that's waiting and they're like, I need God to move. I'm begging. I need to see the power of my Father on heaven. They're in a spot. Maybe they're being hammered on all sides, and they feel like they're just about done. They just can't take no more. Lord, many lives struggle and strain on this earth. Many of your children are not seeing great times. They're seeing hard times, and I just pray in the name of Jesus that they would see and worship you for who you are. And Lord, proclaim and trust that you will deliver. You deliver all of us.